Welcome back to my video, and this video again is part of a playlist that discusses linked list. And basically this video is about a tutorial of pointers or review of pointers. And in the previous video I actually left you with a challenge, with a simple coding challenge, a simple programming challenge. And the instructions are: number one, you have to create float variables, my num1 and my num2, and you're going to save their memory addresses to pointers addr num1, addr num2, or address num1 and address num2. And the second instruction would be you are going to ask the user to input values for these variables, but you have to store the values in the memory addresses of these variables. Okay, so you are not going to put values, or you're not going to save the values in the variables themselves. Okay, so you have to save the values directly into their memory addresses. Okay, so I have a sample output here. So you have the user inputs 3.2 and 1.6 for the first and second number respectively, and just displays the values of those numbers. Okay, so let me show you the solution. Again, this is programming. You may have a different solution than mine, but basically this is how you do it. Okay, so enter the first number. I'm showing you the output first, so let me put a float number, 3.2, a fraction, and 1.6. Now 3.2 and 1.6 will be directly put into a memory location in the computer memory, and they will be displayed as well directly from the computer memory. And so the first number is 3.2, the second number is 1.6. So let me show you the code. So again, this is a code in C++. I'm using a very good compiler, a very good IDE for iPad, and it's called Mobile C. It's free, and you can also download this in your mobile phones and iPad. Okay, so I have left some comments here which you can easily understand, hopefully. And so let's go with line number 5 and line number 6. So basically I declared variables, float variables, my num1. In line number 5 I declared two float variables, my num1 and my num2. And in line number 6 I declared pointers, address num1 and address num2. And again, if you are going to declare a pointer and you intend to use that with a certain variable, then that variable and that pointer should have the same data type. Okay, and that's for line number 5 and line number 6. Now for line number 8, this is what the first instruction is. You have to save the memory addresses of my num1 and my num2 into addr num1 and addr num2 respectively. And so you have to ask input from the user, so enter first number. Now this is what the second instruction is saying. So in line number 12, we are trying to put values in the memory address, and we are not trying to put values in my num1 and my num2. If it's going to be a regular code, if it's going to be a regular program, line number 12 can be simply put as cin and then my num1. But the second instruction is very specific. It's telling us to, this is the second instruction, okay? This is the first one. So the second instruction is asking the user to put values not in the variables themselves, okay? But you have to put the values, store the values in the memory addresses of these variables, okay? Now in line number 12, going back to line number 12 here, okay? In line number 12, we are putting values in addr num1, okay? Remember, if it's a regular code, you can put cin and then my num1 if it's a regular code. But what we are trying to do here is we are using pointers, okay? Now remember, addr num1, if we go back to line number 8 here, addr num1 contains the address of the first variable, of the first float variable. And let's go back to line number 12. Now why didn't we put cin and then ampersand ADDR num1 because we want to put value in the address. If we put something, if we replace this, let's say, if we replace this with ampersand, it means that whatever the user inputs in the in line number 8, for example, okay, whatever the in line number 12, okay, whatever the user inputs here, okay, it means that you are replacing the address itself. So if the address is, let's say, 0x1234, and you put something like 12, then most probably you might encounter an error, okay, in other compiler, or it would simply replace the address as 0x and then whatever the user inputs. Okay, so we don't want to use this ampersand. Since we are putting values, we are going to replace this with an asterisk, the reference operator, okay, because we want to save the input of the user to the address that is stored in ADDR num1. So whatever the address is inside ADDR num1, we are replacing whatever the value is inside of that address. Okay, and in line number 14, basically we're doing the same thing. We're putting the same another value into the second variable, my num2. But this time in line number 15, again, if this is a regular code, in line number 15 you could replace this with cin and then my num2 if it's a regular code. But since we are using pointers and the second instruction is specifically telling us to put value directly into the memory address of my num2, then this should be the right code. So it's cin and then asterisk ADDR num2. And basically the rest of the codes are just displaying whatever the contents of ADDR num1 and ADDR num2. And again, we are using the asterisk operator or the reference operator to show the values in those memory addresses. Okay, so next video, I'm going to give a sample code of linked list. See you in the next video.